Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently working on a lot of islands, including Australia, which is, a pretty big island, but an island nonetheless. Of course, technically, by that definition, everything's an island, I suppose, but we're going to ignore that, and we are instead going to tell these guys to just hop into, looks like a reserve force, actually this force. This force is the one that they should hop into. Excellent. So a few new recruits coming in there, and we are making, I want to say, some amount of progress here in the Caribbean. I'm not convinced that it's actually true. But, I mean, we're doing something. So that's a thing. I mean, I think that we are making progress over here. Of course, we're waiting for our naval invasion up here, and we're probably going to want to do another naval invasion plan over this way. So we'll go ahead and start one up for landing on probably Cuba. Something along the lines of that. No, I don't want to delete it. Okay, so we'll get that started, and they will start thinking about how they want to execute that order. That's great. Of course, Free India is being total jerks, but we're going to take everything we can in the peace deal. Now, if we can't actually take anything on the land, we can always invade from Tasmania or New Zealand. So those are options when we're fighting Free India. But for right now, we'll just see what happens here. It looks like Australia is going to fall quite soon, though. I can't imagine Pratihara Australia is going to last much longer before they capitulate. So we'll have to see how they end up doing that, but I'm guessing they'll capitulate this episode. Looks like we're actually winning over here. Maybe. Maybe on the winning. And these guys are still doing what they're doing. We have about 30 days before we are ready to invade the Bahamas. So that's fine. All of this is considered one state here. All of this is considered one province, I believe. Noted. That will, of course, be very handy. Very, very handy for us. Free India is continuing to attack over here in Jamaica, and I believe that they can win that. I have confidence in Free India there. Pretty sure they got that. Of course, these last little areas up here are dominions of Free India, or, like the Cherokee over here, guaranteed by Ming. We don't actually care about any of these other guarantees, but being guaranteed by Ming is a little bit freaky for us. We don't want to fight Ming just yet. That's going to be a big fight. We want to conquer everything else first. So, in the meantime, of course, we will continue pushing through Australia. And I'm just looking at that fill-in process. I guess that's acceptable. I don't really care that much about what's going on up here. Honestly, though, if we just take their capital, that's going to be ideal. Which at this point is over here. No, they're not ready for a provisional government. Yeah, Perth. That is completely fine. Yeah, they pushed us back a little bit, but it looks like we're about to take Perth. Are they going to capitulate when we do? I guess we'll find out. It's almost there. I'm sure they have other victory points, so. Yeah, they absolutely do. That moved it up to Palmerston. Okay, that's fine. That will also eventually fall. Let's check in on what's going on in the Caribbean. And, I mean, this fighting is still ongoing. This is not surprising, to be clear. What is our 59 out of 40? Would we perhaps be better off to move this force out of there? I suspect we would. Let's tell them to begin planning a naval invasion from here to, say... Are we at war with these guys? I don't know if we are. Maybe onto the Republic of the British Isles. Something like that. Sure. So they will now come out of this region. No, I don't want to delete that. I keep doing that. They are assigned. So they're going to come out of that region, leaving just this force here. There goes Pratihara, Australia. We'll look at that in a moment. So now we can see that these guys are fully supplied. That is great. Absolutely fantastic news. So Pratihara, Australia has fallen, which frees up all of these guys over here, which is absolutely fascinating. Anyone who is not assigned to an order, which I believe is everyone here, we might assign them to this Free India border. And then move them into the Asian theater. I suppose we could do that. Move them up over here, and then frontline on the Free Indian border. That was not, I think, the front line I was looking for. Yeah, that was not the front line I was looking for. I needed to right-click. So we would frontline. Once again, I'm bad at this game. I mean, we already knew that, but click to make it the entire border. But it doesn't include these untraversable sections. Awkward. Okay. Well, we will, in that case, include the untraversable sections, like so, and hope that the army group is smart enough to get these split up. The answer is, it appears to not be. So, we will tell these guys that they are assigned to this group, and then we'll grab, say, do we want 2 armies here? That would mean that we'd have, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we should have 4 armies over here, assigned to this line, like that. Okay, so we'll get over there. Yeah, technically Free India are our allies. They might be a little bit upset at us setting that up, but I doubt they'll care. Okay, now this is still technically the South American theater, even though this has nothing to do with South America. So that's the thing. That said, we are making... I'm not sure if we're making more progress here, but we're certainly not making less progress here. And that does give us 3 naval invasions to be working on over here. Now these guys, they don't appear to have orders right now. I'm just going to tell them to area defense over here, just so that they come on over. And then these guys, of course, there are paratroopers, and I wouldn't necessarily mind telling these guys to prepare for a paratroop drop from here. Is this out of range? It might be out of range. Does Free India control this? From here over to here? It would appear that we don't have range on this, or something. Yeah, I'd love to come out of the Cayman Islands here and land on Cuba. Unfortunately, that does not appear to be valid. Okay. So I'll just leave these guys where they are for now. The range on those paradrops is pretty short, honestly. But I believe that we are making some real actual progress over here since we have full supply flow now. I don't think that they can hold this forever. So that is absolutely wonderful. I'm a little surprised that Free India hasn't taken this yet, but we're pulling out of Australia, so we're out of there. That will be absolutely fine. And Free India will have to set up their own defenses over here. Looks like Free India is also pulling out of Australia a little bit. That's fine. Checking in on Japan over here. Free India is still in a stalemate with Japan. That's fine, honestly. That's completely fine. Are we at war with these guys? This is Aztec? Then yes, we are at war with them. Noted. Okay, let's go ahead and check in on our naval invasions. We have insufficient naval supremacy on the Florida coast. So we do. Okay, we will, in that case, we'll need to make sure that our naval invasion support is also up here. There we go. And that gives us the naval supremacy that we need. Excellent. And let's go ahead and tell these guys to go ahead and go. There we go. And these guys, they are preparing for an invasion over here. They are not ready yet. That's fine. And of course, these guys, we're mostly waiting on them to get reinforced. So that will also be completely fine. Free India is struggling over here. That's noted. We're just going to continue invading these areas. Like, I'm not sure that the Bahamas actually have any defenses over here. And if not, then I believe we're going to need to construct a naval base here again. But after that, we'll just plan a naval invasion, probably straight into Cuba. That should be completely fine. Or maybe we'll come all the way up here to Bermuda. Maybe. That would require naval supremacy over here, which noted. Yeah, it looks like they have no defenses in the Bahamas, so we're just going to get that completely cleanly. That's wonderful. Let's just finish up cleaning the Caribbean here, and then we can turn our eyes on the mess that is the South Pacific. That's a lot of islands to invade. It takes a long time to plan those naval invasions. I mean, you can increase the planning speed. That's something that can be done. So the Bahamas are, of course, here. And that is Creek that owns that, technically. And I think they'll capitulate, maybe on the month tick. But we definitely need to begin construction of infrastructure over here. Any other infrastructure that we need to construct? Yes, actually. Anything down over here? Yes. Excellent. And naval bases. We'll just make sure we have naval bases in that region. And we want to make sure that we have naval bases there for sure. Excellent. So we can go ahead and delete this plan. That's no longer necessary. And we'll need to wait for a naval invasion order here, but that's fine. Okay. Oh, actually, the Bahamas do exist over here still. Creek still has this. Noted. Have we pushed? Not quite. We're close to pushing here. They can't hold this off. They absolutely can't. So that is great. 35 out of 84 on this naval invasion, 62 out of 105 on this one. And we are, of course, awaiting some naval base construction over here, which is progressing. Perfect. So we are going to need to invade up here. We'll make sure that our naval invasion support includes this. We're only really doing one naval invasion at a time, so seems okay. I'm not convinced that this landing on Cuba will be successful, but we do see a few units here, I suppose. And I mean, we can airdrop supplies from the Caymans. That's something we could do. Unfortunately, Free India controls that. But that's fine. We're continuing our attacks over here, and this is likely to continue to be difficult, right? They have pretty large numbers of troops, and crossing over this will be difficult. But it will also be difficult for them, and once we take this up here, we'll probably look at landing up in the north as well, and cutting them off. But for now, this seems reasonably fine. We have 2 supplies available here. Okay, that's not very much, to be sure, but it seems reasonable. And we are, on average, winning these attacks, I think. We seem to be. But they're going to have a very hard time holding that forever. Especially once we get some of their neighbors taken out. So we're mostly just waiting on this naval dockyard here. That'll be complete in 4 days, so that won't be too bad. Now, who else are we at war with who isn't capitulated? There's Aztec, there's Creek, Republic of the British Antilles, Japan, and that's it. So we've got some Caribbean people and Japan. Noted. I would not mind landing in the north up here. Right at that naval base, that would be ideal. What are these guys doing? Yeah, the guy's chilling here. Okay. Yeah, that's a reasonable option, to be sure. And then we'll start declaring on these guys over here. But I want to clean up the Caribbean as our top priority right now. I just want to make sure we have no enemies in the Atlantic. So that way, all we have to do is make sure that we're blockading here, 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 and here. And we know for a fact that there's no one inside, which will be great. That will free up quite a lot of our submarines. Can we prospect for any more resources? Yes, we can. And that is something that we are definitely going to do. Excellent. More resources is good. These guys should definitely begin a naval invasion plan from here over to here. There we go. So they'll get that started, and then they'll just execute that as soon as they can. All of these guys will execute their invasion plans as soon as they can. So this is the Republic of the British Antilles over here. They control all of this. If we can take this away from them and this away from them, that's actually a huge deal for this situation over here. So that will take the pressure off, and that'll be great. Of course, in the meantime, we are waiting on some of these invasion preparations to finish up. And we have our borders with Free India that are not exactly manned yet. We do have some troops on the way over. And they'll get there relatively quickly, it looks like, so that's great. I do want to make sure that we have all of our factories built. I don't actually want additional military factories right now. We can get a few additional civilian factories. But I don't feel like we need more military factories. I feel like we're doing good on military factories for now. So we'll just queue up a few of these civilian factories. Excellent. Anything down over here? Nope. Okay. Sounds good. Of course, we did get Hawaii at some point. I believe that's us and not Free India that has that. Yeah, that's us. Do we need to do any infrastructure construction here? No? Okay. Sounds good. So in terms of the South American theater, this is still needing like 90 days. This one's going to be heading off in 10 days. That's not too bad. And in 3 days for this invasion. The invasion of Cuba. Now, we don't have much for supplies over here. There are no victory points over here. There are no naval bases over here. We are just hoping that we have superior numbers. And these guys are poorly supplied, I'm noticing. So that should be okay. And off we go. We are invading Cuba. Should not be a problem with the initial landfall. And I think we have sufficient numbers. We should definitely put some transports in over here, though. So let's find transports in the list somewhere. I know they're here. We have so many options. So many variants. I really wish there was a search field. Tactical bombers, scout planes. I know it's in here. Lots and lots of scout plane variants. Transport planes. Here we go. Okay, so we want to put in how many exactly? However many we can afford to have command points for. Now, we are currently air supplying over here, which we have 448. You know what? We should just select these guys and move them to here and have them continue supplying the Caribbean. There we go. So we'll just move them to here, and they will continue supplying this area. That's completely fine. Okay, so now that we have some level of supplies, we're going to go ahead and land here. I do see that there are a total of 8 units on Cuba. So we are landing on Cuba, and we now have Cuba, or part of it, under our control. So we are going to immediately begin construction of naval bases and land forts here. We're not going to build any others in this area, but we will put in an offensive line simply here. And they will go ahead and execute that. Okay. So we are, of course, going to be grabbing quite a lot of territory over here. Our air supply is giving us some level of supplies here, but it's not great. That is, of course, expected. Oh, right. This would break. This absolutely would break, wouldn't it? Okay, we're going to move over here, and we're going to tell these guys, forget about this front line. We want our front line to be here. And we want to push an offensive line to here. Go ahead and execute that. And we want to make sure that this unit is heading up to here and cleaning that up. Perfect. So they are responding to this as expected. The question is, do they have sufficient troops here to stop our push? Our supplies aren't great, but they will get better. We have pushed a little bit further. If we get here, though, that gets us a level 2 naval base, which isn't a great naval base, but it does give us some supply throughput. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have a hard time pushing past here, I suspect, but that'll be okay for now. So we do have other naval invasions still preparing. Yeah, that's these guys. We are currently doing a naval invasion over here. And it looks like we're going to succeed this. This is going to be a highly successful invasion, it looks like. If we win this battle, and we did, that is huge. That is absolutely enormous. So honestly, we are going to offensive line, right like that, execute it. These guys, I'd prefer that they didn't leave. I'd really prefer that they didn't. But we still linked this up. And it looks like this is just going to fall immediately. I do want to extend their front line here. That's these guys. I want to extend their front line to include this. Excellent. But there's no way that we don't take this. So that's great. We have an unassigned division, and we'll move those into here, of course. We also have some idle dockyards right now, and that is something that I want to deal with by making additional submarines. Perfect. Okay, so we took about half of Cuba. However, these guys, not these guys, these guys are at this point completely ready. What are these guys doing? Oh, they're just coming in over here. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go ahead and prepare another naval invasion from here to here. And include that. That's actually huge. No, don't delete. I accidentally deleted it. I'm a moron. That's actually huge that we get this. Yeah, because that's actually connected. Noted. So we can start pushing in this way with a second army and relieve these guys. That's absolutely great. And we are pushing back in Cuba. They're falling back. Our supplies are improving in Cuba dramatically, which means Cuba will fall very, very quickly. Cuba is no longer a concern. This army will be ready to invade the Bahamas soon enough. They're not currently ready. These guys are, of course, fighting here. We are planning to invade Antigua. And this is our force fighting in Cuba. Okay, so that all looks good to me. It is, however, time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to continue, or perhaps even finish, our conquest of the Caribbean. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.